Hey, CityCast listener, this holiday season, you could win a prize for doing simple things like ordering takeout from a local restaurant. It's all part of the DC Holiday Hunt from District Bridges. There are over $3,000 in exclusive prizes that you could win while supporting local businesses, completing fun missions, and crisscrossing DC, which, as you know, is one of CityCast listeners' favorite activities. And with no app required to play, it's easy and can be done at your own pace. Play now through January 5th for your chance to win. Just go to dcholidayhunt.org. Once again, that's dcholidayhunt.org. Happy playing. Today on CityCast DC, it's cold and wet, but we've got you covered, figuratively and kind of literally, too. CityCast's Ash Durbin and Kayla Cote-Stemmerman have put together a collection of cozy winter spots where you can drink, eat, and hang out until the weather turns. Today is Thursday, December 12th. I'm Michael Schaefer, and here's what DC is talking about. Hey, good morning, CityCast DC listeners. Before today's show, I need to issue a free CityCast DC tote bag alert. That's right. If you sign up to be a CityCast DC member this week, you get a free super hip black tote bag. It's emblazoned with the CityCast DC logo. And I don't know about you, but in my neighborhood, I sometimes feel like the same New Yorker tote bag is traded from person to person to person all day long. And since people use tote bags to kind of show off their tastes and affiliations, I argue that it is way cooler to have one that shows off something like CityCast DC, which connects you to your own city and also is a lot more rare. And plus, having that bag at your side might attract the attention of a fellow CityCast DC listener, and you could make a connection with somebody cool. So seriously, we have a ton of fun making this show because it's not just about trudging through the serious stuff, although we do a bunch of that too. We look for things that delight, surprise, inspire us. I work with people who really work their tails off on this show, and your membership helps fund the work that they do. It's not easy, but it's a lot of fun. So at a moment when I think a fair number of my neighbors are dodging the national headlines, I invite you to take local action. Support CityCast DC by becoming a member at membership.citycast.fm. Your support ensures that we get to continue connecting you to news and information that inspires, delights, and engages. For as little as $8 a month or $80 a year, you can help us keep connecting the dots for DC. And again, if you sign up this week, you get that tote bag with your membership. So if you were thinking of becoming a member, now is the time. Head to membership.citycast.fm today to join us. And thanks for listening. All right, now on to some cozy winter recommendations. Hey, Ash.
Hey.
Hey, Kayla.
Hello.
So you guys, our city, we have winter, but we're not really built for it, you know? I imagine that in like Oslo or something, there's like a hearth in every restaurant or something. But what does it mean to you here? What is a cozy winter space? Just for those of us who've spent our whole lives in this quasi winter.
Absolutely. I feel like DC, yes, it's not as hardcore as maybe some other New England or, Norwegian areas, but it is like damp. Like it's damp and cold and kind of nasty. If it might be actually worse than places that get a lot of snow because you just have that cold rain.
Because we have such warmth in the summers and it's such a back and forth, I feel like we don't build up the cold tolerance in a way that actually cold places do. So when it hits you and it's bad, it's like really cold. But as far as what I look for in a cozy spot, I think so much of it is like somewhere where you're comfortable being for an extended period of time and you don't feel like you're maybe being pushed out. You don't feel like you're a nuisance or maybe that they're trying to move you along. Like you can sit down and plop down and do whatever if you're just having a drink or like working or reading or whatever.
What you're saying is it's not about some sort of roaring fire or something.
Oh, it is for me. Yeah.
The fire definitely helps.
I feel like warmth and light are key. Like anything with twinkly lights, fairy lights, anything with a warm fire, anything with specialty winter cocktails or, soups or cozy things like that help a lot. Couches, warm blankets,
seating.
Comfy seating. If you're outside and you have a fire, that's like top tier cozy space for me.
All right. So tell me your spaces. Let's start with bars.
For me, when I'm thinking of a cozy bar, dive bar, basement, automatically comes to mind tavernous vibes. If we were pre-electricity, there would be like, torches on the walls and stuff. So for me, that's like Snappy's, Small Bar. Snappy's is on Georgia Ave. So it's like Petworth type area.
That's nice too, because it's really small. It has like maybe like 10 seats in there. So it's automatically cozy just by the size. Yeah.
Yeah. And the drinks are flowing and it's small and, the heat recycles in maybe a gross way, but
they also really treat you like family there. Like whenever I go there, the bartender is always like, okay, like I'll see you tomorrow. I'm like, no, you won't, but okay. Like thank you. Like they're always just very friendly.
Is it just a bar?
They have food, but I believe it's dino nuggets and frozen mozzarella sticks that they cook in an air fryer behind the bar.
That's it.
You can come to my house for those too.
Yeah, beautiful. But anything like that, Trustees in Hill East, like by Potomac Ave Metro, used to be my local, which is kind of an unsung hero. Tune In is also down there. I honestly like Rocket Bar in Chinatown by the arena. There's the Quarry House in Silver Spring, which is like my go-to pub.
I feel like Dewdrop does that really well too. They like curate that kind of cozy winter vibe.
So what do these things have in common that makes them especially winter cozy?
Not super big, kind of like low lit vibes, usually pretty packed out with people and cheap drinks to warm your belly, I would say, is the general consensus. And then there's something about it being not like a new age, like open floor plan design makes it feel warmer, even if it's not, you're all crowded into a little bar.
You've brought me around on this, Ash, but originally when I was thinking about this question, I kind of went in the opposite direction and was thinking more like fancy formal. Like I feel like it's a nice time of year to like go for like those underground speakeasies, those smaller velvet lined couch kind of spaces like a Silver Lion or something like that. That's it. The Riggs Hotel downtown. It's like under the hotel there. DC does these like winter pop-ups really well. So there's like one right now that's called the Snow Glow at the Dome, which is just this massive sphere on top of Union Market.
It's like the busted version of the Sphere in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah. But you can go in it. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like warm and they have cozy cocktails and blankets. Of course, you're paying for that. And like everything is 3 times as expensive as like a dive bar. But I think you're paying for the experience. And I, for one, am kind of happy to do that. But yeah, so I think you can kind of go in either direction.
That's a very different category, though, because what Ash is talking about is, familiar places, right? Like locals where you know the person. But you're describing a thing that is intended to be a special excursion for everyone who goes there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I go to dive bars year round, so like why not make it a little special, like a little bit fancy,
And the Dome is also like a 360-degree weird IMAX visual experience too, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a new idea. I haven't been, so I can't speak to it more than that, but I'm very excited to go.
And it's open through February, correct?
That's right.
Let's be real, lawsuits are not fun. But with Christopher Nace and the trial lawyers at Paulson and Nace, at least they're a little easier. Paulson and Nace is a DC law firm in every sense of the word. It was founded here in 1979. Partner Chris Nace is a local who cares deeply about the DC community, even serving on the board of the local branch of the Living Classrooms Foundation in his free time. Nace and his associates, Samantha Peters, John Reese, and Maya Perry, handle medical malpractice, wrongful death, and other complex injury cases. And they don't just settle every case. They'll go to court. They'll fight for you. Paulson & Nace has even been recognized as one of Best Lawyers' best law firms. So if you have been hurt or lost a loved one because of someone else's mistake or negligence, call Paulson & Nace for a no-obligation consultation. Visit www.paulsonandnace.com or call 202-463-1999.
CityCast DC is brought to you today by Jones Dairy Farm. They're a 7th-generation family-owned and operated meat maker with products like dry-aged bacon, all-natural sausage, and America's favorite center-cut Canadian bacon. Their premium meats are all gluten-free, so they're perfect for busy mornings, and they're available all over the place in DC. I checked out the map on their website, jonesdairyfarm.com, and got back dozens of our grocery stores. You can get their sausage and pork, chicken, or turkey, and there are no preservatives, additives, MSG nitrates, or fillers. Expect only fresh ingredients from Jones Dairy Farm, making breakfast better since 1889.
Hey, Andy McDaniel here. I'm Chief Creative Officer at CityCast. If you're like me, you're fatigued with the news right now. And yet here you are listening to today's show. I hope that is because CityCast is a bright spot in your media diet. We started CityCast out of the belief that local news can be not only informative, but useful, even delightful. We also believe that when people like you understand your city and your neighbors, it makes your city a better place to live. If CityCast does that for you, I hope you'll consider becoming a member. By listening to this show, you are already a part of what we're building. But when you become a CityCast member, you help ensure we stick around. Become a member of your local CityCast at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. And thanks.
So what about the actual menus? Are there places that do a hot cocktail well in the winter?
I think the first one that comes to mind for me is actually Lulu's, which is a kind of, I guess it's called a pop-up every year. It's their same space, but they have a set menu during sort of the winter holiday time that's all either hot cocktails or like festive cocktails that are just amazing. There's a lot of like bourbon-based warm cidery drinks. There's ones with mezcal and ginger and figs. And they all come in these like really nice little themed cups, which always gets me.
I think when it comes to like hot cocktails, you can get them at like every restaurant, and it's always like some iteration of a hot cider, hot toddy, boozy hot chocolate, something like that. So when you find something that's like a little bit different, that's really what I look for. Calico in Blagden Alley has a hot cocktail called Mole Mole Mole, which is Chile liqueur, mezcal, hot chocolate, mole cream, which sounds really good. They also have hot Jamaica, which is, I guess, a play on hot toddy, but instead of just like regular citrus, they're using sorrel liquor and hibiscus tea, which sounds so good.
So is there a polite way to ask, hey man, are your warm cocktails just like someone putting some apple cider in the microwave and then pouring some booze into it? Versus are they like purpose made like the ones you've just been describing?
I think you have to know what kind of establishment you're at. If they put all of the ingredients that are in the cocktail on the menu, then you're in good hands. Like if it's just like apple cider, you're probably going to get apple cider.
My experience in bartending is that most bars, the hot cocktails are like an afterthought. Like it comes to late November and then they're like, oh no, we need hot cocktails. And then you just whip something together last minute. And usually there's not a lot of thought. So definitely something to do your research to find the good ones.
I will say one place that I always go during the cold season because it just hits every time is Iron Gate. It's a little bit more expensive. It's somewhere you maybe bring your parents or something. Every single table has its own fire pit and the cocktails are really, really good. They have all of those like really fancy bougie hot cocktails along with like just their regular food, which is amazing. And the menu changes like every couple of months. It's seasonal. And they have like this trellis with these lights and these vines. And it really it's a beautiful space to spend some time in. You can spend like all evening there, just like sipping your little hot cocktails by your personal fire pit. They give you blankets. That's like my kind of secret hidden gem.
Where is that?
That's in DuPont. It's like kind of hidden. Like you go through this long and narrow bar to get to the back garden, and that's where the good stuff is.
When I think of hot drinks too, this isn't alcoholic, but at Sadamo on H Street, it's a coffee shop. They do like pot service for coffee where they like make it to you and serve it to you. And that feels super...
That's so luxurious, yeah.
Cozy and luxurious. And it's also like a very homey space in that it's not super fancy. All the furniture is mismatched. There's just random trinkets and stuff everywhere. I really like that sort of vibe as well.
But what if you're not drinking alcohol? Is there places that have improved on the humble hot chocolate of yesteryear?
I think one of my favorites for like bougie hot chocolate is LA Burdick's in Georgetown. It's on Wisconsin Ave. And they just have like the densest, like it's as if you melted a chocolate bar and then served it to me in a cup. Like I can't even get through a full 8-ounce cup. And I have such a sweet tooth, so that's saying a lot. So it's so good. And they have like a spicy one with chili that I really do recommend. Patango also has excellent hot chocolate. I think they have it all year round, but it really is best in there.
All right, what about food, you guys? I love a good French onion soup in the cold weather. What about y'all?
My brain kind of goes to pot pie, warm pies, savory pies. For me, the obvious answer there is Queen Vic on H Street, kind of the homage to a British pub owned by a British guy. They've got very good shepherd's pie, also very good bangers and mash, which is not a pie, but mashed potatoes and gravy and kind of nasty but yummy sausages. Comfort food. There's also Pie Shop on H Street, which has a bunch of savory pies. That's exactly where my brain goes when I'm looking for cozy food.
Mine always goes to soup. I'm the same with you. We just did an article on this for the newsletter, 10 best soups in DC this season. I think my personal favorites are the Ukrainian borscht at Delight Cafe in Adams Morgan. They have like this like bright red like beet and beef stew that's so good. They serve it with really delicious sesame bread. Another one that I love is Tanari, which is based in Chinatown. And they have during the weekdays, they have a menu that is all Italian style ramen. So you have like arrabbiata ramen, like this like tomato soup based ramens that are really interesting and cozy and just like the best of both worlds mashed together. And I really recommend it. And it's all quite cheap because it's lunch. For me, it's also diners, like a hot coffee diner, scrambled eggs, pancake situation. Again, going
Denny's.
back to that comfort food. Again, I don't know about Denny's, but there's plenty of great diners. And you see, there's The Diner in Adams Morgan, which I frequent all the time. It's Jimmy T's on Capitol Hill, which is like
Jimmy
a family-run
T's
joint. So good. Cash only. Yeah, like that really greasy corned beef hash kind of vibe to me, I love in the wintertime. It's just what I crave.
Jimmy T's is really cheap, too.
That's so cheap. Yeah, it's like $10. Yeah.
All right, so we started with talking about fire pits and hearths and fireplaces. Are there places where I could go and I don't mean some sort of COVID-style little personalized fire pit, but like an actual big roaring fire? Is there a place I can go sit by a fire?
My favorite one is actually Ivy City Smokehouse. On the upstairs level, they have a huge fire pit. And then to couple with that, Ivy City Smokehouse is kind of known for their smoked fish, which in a very Nordic way is wintry and cozy to me if you're into that. I know I understand a lot of people might not be into that, but if you are and you like cosplaying as, I don't know, a Viking or something, you can go there and sit by your roaring fire and enjoy some, I don't know, smoked trout or anchovies or whatever.
I'm all about the smoked trout, Ash. I'll go with you.
Does it get hot?
Yeah, it's a big fire. So
one of my favorite tips for the wintertime, which our other co-host Bridget Todd turned me on to, is actually doing your own fire pit situation in Rock Creek Park, where you can reserve a fire pit, a fireplace, and there's picnic tables and there's the fire pit. You bring your wood, you bring your hot toddies and your hot dogs or whatever you want, and you can just camp out there all day with your little blankets and your crew. And I've actually, since she recommended that, have done that a couple of times, and it's really, really fun.
So this brings up the last subject I want to ask you guys about. What if you don't want to spend money paying for the hot toddies that someone else is pouring you? Okay, you can go to the park and bring your own fire pit. What else? Do you guys have other sort of third spaces that are appealing to you, particularly in winter?
I think there's some classic, obvious ones, like libraries, obviously. The atrium at the Portrait Gallery, I think, might be objectively the best for me.
Yeah, that's super cozy.
And then all the museums, Museum of the American Indian, I think has some great areas to hang out and do whatever you're going to do, and a lot of natural light, which we need in the winter. So those are always good shouts.
The Quill and Crumb Cafe, which just opened at the Folger Library, is like top of my list for like cozy spots. It has like a very Hogwarts feel to it. And I think, for the price of like a cup of coffee, you can sit and hang out there all day, like surrounded by like stacks of books. Another one that I love is Capitol Hill Books in Eastern Market. And that one's just like stacks and stacks of books everywhere you can possibly see. Like in the bathroom, you're surrounded by stacks of books. They love having people just like hang out there. You can read in there for like hours and nobody will ever find you.
In the bathroom?
No, maybe not in the bathroom.
That might be the only place to sit, honestly.
No, there's places to sit. There's places to sit in there. But those are a couple that I really like going to.
That gets so full on the weekends, too. I would definitely hit that one during the weekday, especially on Sundays.
Or an odd hour.
Yeah, with the farmer's market, I would, go through and pick up a book maybe, but it is, you're squeezing past people on Sundays for sure.
Not as cozy.
Well, Ash and Kayla, you guys have made me actually rather excited for the weather to get colder. Thank you.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Mike.
And that's all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoyed the show, why not carve the CityCast name into the snow the first time that comes down? We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.